the Gadget God here, and welcome to the next episode of Complete Nintendo 64 Collection. And oh boy, do we have some sweet boxes and manuals that we have acquired today. So if you haven't seen this before, this is my journey to collect all 296 North American Nintendo 64 games. That's a lot of games, and that's with the boxes and the manuals. And if you don't know, the boxes and manuals were so fragile, it's almost impossible to find them for N64 games. So a couple ground rules if you haven't seen this before. First one, trying to collect every N64 game released in the United States with the box and manual and as cheap as possible, but also as mint as possible. Second rule that I'm following is that I will show you the condition of all the games, tell you the story behind how I got the game in the box and the manual, as well as any development history of that video game and details about that game, screenshots, things like that. And the last rule, I do accept any donations, so if you want to donate anything to the channel, then leave a message down below. If it's a physical item, then I will even pay for the shipping costs. So with that said, let's jump into all the new goodness. Ooh! Let me go ahead and get this big box out of the way so we can have even better lighting. This is blocking a little bit of my light source. Now, I do want to give a special shout out to the eBay store, Tailsman778. Definitely check them out. They hooked me up with an incredibly generous deal on this box and manual. So let me go ahead and open it up for you. Alright, so the first new item we have here is Bomberman 64, and we do have a pretty big crunch right there. I'm not sure if that is from shipping or not. I'll check the eBay listing, but I do want to give a shout out to that eBay store that I mentioned earlier because they cut me a super deal on this. Now, if you don't know, the Bomberman 64, any of them for the Nintendo 64, are actually kind of pricey and difficult to get with the box and manual. And the reason for that is because Bomberman: The Second Attack is one of the top 5 rarest games for the N64. So because of that, all the Bomberman N64 games, there's 3 of them, are actually a little more expensive than they should be. So this is just the box and the manual, but I will tell you, I've been looking for the box and the manual for Bomberman 64 for a while, and I've never jumped at it because the price has never been right. So we'll take a look at all the sides, the condition. Now this is in really, really good condition except for that big ka-chunka right there. Now I am going to put this in one of those protective cases that I showed off in a different video. I do have the link for that video down below, best protective retro cases, because those cases, those clear cases, will actually help to flatten this piece out and improve the structural integrity of this extremely fragile box. So the box is beautiful. There's the screenshots there. Now this is a game that, as far as the graphics are concerned, kind of looks like Super Mario 64 because it has that 3D style, but you also have the traditional 3D Bomberman gameplay where up to 4 players, you can run around and drop bombs and try to blow each other up. Manual is in really, really great shape, but again, shout out to that eBay store because they absolutely hooked me up with a super deal for this box and manual. Now this is a game that we had when we were kids, and it was really, really fun. Bomberman is really a classic party game. I have a lot of brothers and sisters, so this is one of the games that we played a lot. Bomberman 64 is a great game, and I highly recommend it. Next, I want to give another shout out to another eBay store because I've actually bought a pretty solid amount of things from them, and for these couple items in particular, they cut me a really good deal, and that is Riley's Entertainment on eBay. Definitely check them out, especially if you like retro games. Excuse me, bubble wrap, but they have a massive collection, and they really hooked me up with some good pricing here. So here we have the 2 original inserts for some very difficult to find games. We have Chameleon Twist. You can see there is a little bit of sun fading on the front, and then on the back of the box, look at the difference in the color. You probably can't see it through the 1080p video, but there's a tiny bit of sun fading on the front. That seems to be super common with Chameleon Twist. That makes me assume that this game just sat on the shelves and no one ever bought them. But we also have the Road Rash 64 box. We can see this is in really great shape. Again, for some reason, both of these boxes are expensive to get. Have a little paperwork insert there. But Road Rash 64 is the first 3D Road Rash game. Road Rash is where you ride around on motorcycles and you punch the people next to you that you're racing. This game got its start on the 3DO. Yeah, you've probably never heard of that system because it was extremely expensive and not that good. And this game got really popular, the Road Rash series, on the Sega Genesis, and that's where I first played it. I never played Road Rash 64, but the transition to 3D did not go very well for this game. This is not a very good game, but the box and the manual and the cartridge are pretty pricey. We can see a little bit of creasing along the top if I get the light just right. A little bit of creasing along the top there, and I do still need the cartridge and the manual for this. So hey, donate them, hook me up, scoop them up off of eBay, send it to me. I'll pay the shipping cost. I'll give you a shout out. And then Chameleon Twist, another difficult game to find with the box and manual. This is just the box and the cardboard insert. And this game, the sequel, Chameleon Twist 2, is in the upper echelon of expensive and rare games for the N64. And these games are actually really good. That's one of the reasons why they are so pricey. We can see there, got a little bit of the gameplay there. It's a 3D game, obviously. The N64 was really great 3D action adventure game for all ages. But I didn't have either of these games when I was younger. Road Rash, I had it for the Sega Genesis, and it was awesome. It was super fun, very brutal. Probably a game I should have been playing at that age. But Chameleon Twist is not a game that we had as kids. 3D platformer, really fun. Still need the game cartridge and manual for each of these. So if you got them, let me know. Or if you want to donate them, let me know. I'll blow you a kiss. I'll even show you my face blowing you a kiss. Let's move on to the next stuff. Since it's trying to peek out, I'm trying to go ahead and show you this one. Aiden Chronicles, the First Mage. Now, I do already have the box and the cartridge, which I acquired separately, and I will show those in a future video. But I had to pick up the manual, got this for super cheap, and now I do have the full complete set for Aiden Chronicles. So I'll talk more about this in a future video when I show the case and the cartridge as well. But I do have the manual, super minty, super fresh. So look forward to hearing about this one in a future episode. Now I have two more coming up, and I'm actually going to throw an extra one in here as well because I don't want this video to be too short. But first, let's go ahead and do this one. Now, this is one I'm actually really excited to have because this cartridge, it's not super expensive, but to get the box and the manual for this, good luck. I hope to get that at some point in the near future, but it is pricey for the box and manual for this game because it is extremely uncommon, and that is Rat Attack. We can see I just bought the cartridge because I got essentially the lowest price that I had seen for this game since I've been scouting eBay, and I will talk about this game a little bit more when I eventually get the box and manual. But Rat Attack, never had it as a kid, never even heard of it. You've probably never heard of it. I would refer to this as a rare game, as in difficult to find, because the box and the manual coming up on eBay or anywhere is extremely rare, and that means it's going to be pricey if you do find it. So the cartridge is uncommon, and we can see there's a tiny bit of wear on the side of the cartridge, that white. So I tried to get the absolute best cartridge that I could in preparation for eventually getting the box and the manual, because I didn't want to miss out on this. The price is climbing very slowly because people aren't as crazy about N64 as I am, but I wanted to get the cartridge because I know it's going to take me a very long time to wait for that perfect price for the box and the manual. Rat Attack, Ratatouille, Attack Ratatouille, Rat Attack at Rat Attack Ratatouille. Look at that, it's like a magic trick. I just got to say it again. Rat Attack Ratatouille. Say that 3 times fast. It's easy to type, it's hard to say. So this game, I picked up Aero Fighters Assault. Now this is not a rare game, but to find it complete in box for a fair price is not easy to do. Everyone wants to charge $1 million for N64 complete games because these boxes are so flimsy and frail. To find any of these boxes in even decent shape is pretty uncommon. So I'm sure you can assume what type of game this is based on the cover and the title. It is a flying game. I would like to compare it to Star Fox, but let's be serious. This game is nowhere near as good as Star Fox. I didn't have this when I was a kid. I never even heard of it, but I do like that kind of bluish purple background. It's got a cool cover. You know, if I was into planes and flying games, I would scoop this one up. But this is a third-person flying game. It does have that inner cartridge in there as well. You should see the large box that they packaged this in. They took very good care of shipping this, and as you can see, it arrived in really great condition. The box is in beautiful shape. If you couldn't tell, there's all the angles. Clean, crisp. Tiny crease there, but honestly that's so small I don't even care. No crunches anywhere else. Really happy. Got this for an extremely low price, and there's the manual, beautiful shape as well. Aero Fighters Assault. I didn't have it when I was a kid, but it's good enough for me because it's part of the collection. I'm gonna go ahead and drop one more game on you. Go ahead and open it up with a little bit of surgery. Superman 64. Now this is arguably, because there are some pretty popular videos on the internet about this game. The Angry Video Game Nerd, if you haven't heard of him, look at how safe that packaging is though. Put it in a protective comic book sleeve. But this game is arguably one of the worst video games ever made. Now, funny story, my cousins had this when we were kids. We never owned this one in particular, but our cousins had it. I guess they were big fans of Superman. But first, let me just point out this box, minty crisp. It's like spearmint gum, a package that has yet to have been opened. This box is in super duper shape. Tiny little bit of a crease there, and it's the only flaw I can see on this box. Minty crisp, the crispest of the crispy cereals. Go ahead and fold it out. I'll show you the screenshots in the back on 1 second. There's your screenshots. So my cousins actually had this game when we were kids, and I remember playing it completely. This was before this game was ever widely regarded as one of the worst video games of all time. And I remember playing it at their house for the first time, like, oh, Superman 64, it's, you know, Superman's cool, it's gotta be cool. Now, keep in mind, this was a long time ago, and this game was not fun. It's not that it looks really terrible. Manual, mint, fresh. That's how bad this game was. They probably bought it brand new and played it once, put it back on the shelf. The graphics are pretty cool. There is a lot of fog. The Nintendo 64 is notorious for that fog because of the draw distance limits. But the very first level, you have to fly through these rings, and the controls are really finicky. You try to use the stick, and your Superman goes all over the place, and your time limit to fly through all these really close together rings is super short. Literally, you would have to do a perfect execution of flying through like 25 rings to be able to pass this level. And that's the very first level. That is level number 1. So I don't think I ever beat that as a kid. And if I did, it took like 20 tries, finally beat it before throwing the controller at the wall. And then the second level was just as difficult. You have to actually, on the second level, scoop up a car. They're making it look easy there. And it's really hard to scoop this car up on the second level. It's like no button will make it work. And you have like 8 seconds. Literally, I'm not even kidding. The second level, you have like about 8 seconds to fly to wherever this car is in the 3D world and pick it up and then throw it at something. If the time limits were longer, this could have been a slightly okay game. But no, they had to really destroy you. So there's a crazy development history behind this game. Apparently, the makers, Titus, we've actually seen a lot of Titus games in the last video as well. They were extremely crunched for time, and halfway through, the company that was helping to publish the game got bought out. So the new people who were producing the game for Titus, they wanted the game done, they wanted to change everything. It was too late for that, so this game had an extremely rough development cycle. But again, the box, the manual, the cartridge, beautiful shape. And because this game is pretty notorious for one of the worst games of all time, it's not easy to find this complete with the box and manual for a low price, and I got this for a very low price. So super happy with the condition. This game, it's not good. Don't buy it to play it. Buy it if you're a collector. Buy it if you are like the Gadget God and you want the entire Nintendo 64 set. But this is, in all honesty, probably one of the worst video games ever made. Definitely in the top 5 worst N64 games. At least top 10. I don't recommend it, but don't buy it. But I'm super psyched that I have it in the collection, and it's in literally beautiful shape, all the pieces. All right. I will throw one more in there because honestly, this is super fun unboxing these on camera for you guys so we can go on this journey together. And this one just arrived in the mail today. So this one in particular is one of those strange games where you wouldn't think this would be valuable at all, but because no one bought it, this is now one of the much more difficult to find games. I would call this game an uncommon rare because nobody knows it's rare unless you're trying to collect the set. And I'm trying to collect the set, so I know how rare it is. Extreme Patience allowed me to get this for a very fair price. A lot of the buy it nows for this game are absurd and offensive because they know there's cuckoos out there who will pay a high price to get this game right away. But I was patient. I've been waiting months and months, checking every day, and I scooped up Top Gear Hyperbike for an extremely fair price, well below the buy it now. So we'll go ahead and pop it open. It does come with that clear case, which is very nice, a little bonus. And as far as the condition is concerned, we do have that indentation there along the front. That is because of how fragile these boxes are. A little bit of creasing on the side because of that. but we can see all the other edges are actually in really nice shape. And the back is beautiful as well, no creases there. I love when they come in these cases because that means they're a collector and they took good care of it. But the front, it looks like it has a tiny bit of sun fading. You can tell just because of how much the color difference is on the back. See, you can see pretty well, I feel like, right there. See all the colors on the screenshots? 3D Bike Racer with a custom track editor, and then you look on the front, you can see it's faded. You know, that's really was a pure purple back in the day. But to get this for such a good price, I was really happy because this is one of those very tricky games to get. And there's the manual in, I would say, above average shape. Another one of those thin manuals. This is not a game I had when I was a kid because I'm not really into motorcycles, but very happy to have this in the collection. You can see the cartridge is in really great shape, has that sticker on the back. So eventually I'm gonna need to upgrade this cart so it doesn't have any stickers on it. But to get the cartridge is pretty easy. You can get this cartridge right now with a buy it now on eBay or something like that for a low price, a very low price. But it's the box and the manual for this game that is really difficult to find. Again, any games that were not bought up in the millions are very difficult to get the boxes and the manuals for. So this is a very tricky and pricey game to get. I got it for a normal price like these other games in the back. I didn't get it for that crazy collector price. So I'm really happy about getting the price that I got this game at. And there it is, Top Gear Hyperbike. Super happy to finally have this in the collection. Yes, sir. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode of Complete Nintendo 64 Collection. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you all for supporting and your nice comments and your nice donations. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. The more thumbs up that you give this video, the more it's publicized on YouTube, so it helps me to get the word out about how cool the N64 is as a video game system and just how many games it had. 296 in the United States to be exact. And if you didn't know already, I'm the Gadget God. I do the research, so you don't have to. Feel free to leave a message below if you would like to donate anything. Feel free to subscribe to my Patreon account. And have a great bombing, man, rest of your day. N64 is the best, you know it.